Hey guys, this is Dan Burgess. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to draw a half-stack guitar amplifier using JavaScript and a framework called P5.js. I was very happy with the results, and at the end of the video, I will show you what the finished product looks like. So stay tuned. Quick note, if you want to code along with me, go to p5js.org and click on editor. And you can create an account like I did if you want to save all your sketches. And if you want to know how some of the functions that I'm using work, go to p5js.org, click on reference, and you can read about all of them in here. So in this case, I started by resizing the canvas from 400 by 400 to 600 by 600 pixels. And then for the background, I used an HTML color that I like. In this case, FEEEDD. After that, I set the stroke weight to 2 and the stroke color to black, which is the default, but I like to make it explicit. I also set the fill color to 222, which is kind of a pretty dark gray. For drawing the head of the amp, I made a rectangle starting at 100 for X and 40 for Y, with 400 pixels of width and 120 of height. And then I added 8 as the radius, just so the borders are a little bit rounded, as you can see. So then I set the stroke to black, although this was unnecessary because it was set before. And then the fill to this light orange color that I like. You can use any other color you may want. And then I made a rectangle with 118 for X, 120 for Y, and then 360 pixels wide by 20 pixels tall. I removed the stroke color setting function because it was unnecessary, and then changed the fill to 222, which is that dark gray, and I set the stroke to white. Then I made a second rectangle starting at 120 for X, 60 for Y, and then I made it 360 pixels wide by 60 pixels tall. So that one sits right on top of the other one. So if this is your first time on this channel, welcome. And I just wanted to let you know that I'm pretty good at replying to comments. So if you think that I'm rushing anything, or you have any questions about any of the functions that I'm using, etc., feel free to leave a comment and I'll make sure to respond. Also, if you find the content of this video useful, it would really help me a lot if you go to that subscribe button and you click it. That will help me keep making videos like this one. So for the controls, I set the stroke color to black again, and I set the stroke weight to 1 just so it's a little bit thinner. And then I made 2 rectangles for the 2 switches, the standard on-off switch and the standby switch. So the first one starting at 140 for X and 125 for Y. And then I made it 6 by 10. And the second one, same dimensions, but starting at 150 for X. And you can see them on the screen. After that, for the knobs, I set the fill color to 777, which is a lighter gray. And then I made an array with all the different X values for where I want to place all my knobs horizontally. And I added all these values. So the values were 180, 195, 210, 240, 255, 270, 285, 300, 330, 345, 360, 375, 390, and 405, and one more at 435. So I usually use PHP Storm as my main code editor, but it's actually really nice that P5.js offers this online editor that executes the code right on the browser. If in the future you want me to do a video on how to install and use P5.js in a local development environment, just let me know in the comments. After that, I made a for loop in which I was iterating through all the knobs X array just to draw a knob on each of those X positions. And for each one of those positions, I drew a circle in which the X position was that value, the value of the current index of the knobs X array. The Y value was 130. And then the diameter was 10. And then I made a second circle with the same center, but with a diameter of 1. After that, I made two smaller circles for like the jack inputs, one of them with the center at X 454 and Y at 130 and with a 5 pixel diameter. And another one, the same thing, but with the X at 462. For the speaker cabinet, I set the fill again to 222, which is dark gray. And then I made a rectangle starting at 100 for X, 160 for Y, and I made it 400 by 400. And again, I set the radius to 8, so it has some rounded borders. And then I switched my fill color to 999, which is a pretty light gray, and the stroke to white. And I made another rectangle inside of the first rectangle. This one doesn't have round borders, and I gave it 120 for X, 180 for Y, and I made it 360 by 360. For making kind of like a grill effect in the canvas of the speaker, I set my stroke weight to 0.5 or like 0.5. And then I made a for loop in which I iterated from 120 to 480. And in each iteration, my I variable increases by 5. And in each of those values, I drew a line, a vertical line, starting at I for X, 180 for Y, and ending at I for X, and 540 for Y. And I got this very cool effect. And lastly, for the logos, I set my fill color to white, my text font to Georgia, the text style to bold, italic, and I made a mistake in here. There shouldn't be quotation marks because bold italic is a constant, and the console told me later and I modified it. Then the text size to 24, text aligned to center and center to align it both horizontally and vertically. And then I wrote a text with the word Burgess at 300 for X and 90 for Y. And then another one with 300 for X and 360 for Y. I corrected the little error in the text style and we are all set. Here is our half stack amplifier. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments. First of all, if you like this design, and second, if you have any suggestions for any other designs that you would like to see in the future on this page, just leave a comment and I'll do my best. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video.